Jessica, a devout Christian lady, finds herself attracted to two vastly different men. Lucas, a humble civil servant who has genuine faith in God, and Nathan, a charismatic and wealthy businessman who claims deep Christian convictions. In Jessica's quest to do the will of God, she prayed earnestly for God's guidance in choosing a life partner, expressing her desire to serve God fully. Lucas' life is characterized by selfless service, quiet prayer, and a deep love for God. He was convinced of his relationship with Jessica. He met his pastor and was on the point of starting the courtship with her when something happened. Based on this premise, Lucas expressed his love to Jessica and proposed marriage to her. Jessica was hesitant to say yes to Lucas because of his modest appearance and uncertain future. One day, when Jessica was going to church, he met Nathan, a member of her church, on the way. He was in his car. He pressed the horn of his car to alert Jessica if she needed a ride to the church. She agreed and they went to the church together. Nathan was a charming wealthy businessman who impressed Jessica with his generosity and outward devotion to God. His life was a dazzling display of wealth and luxury. He attended church, quoted scriptures, and projected an image of godliness, but his actions often contradict his words. They had a pleasant discussion while in his car. One thing led to another and they exchanged contacts. Nathan started giving Jessica different gifts like expensive pieces of jewelry to designer clothes, shoes, bags and many other things. He had a subtle way of displaying his wealth and power. Jessica hesitated at times, but also collected some of the gifts. To crown it, Nathan donated a large sum of money to the church, further convincing Jessica of his Christian faith and commitments. Lucas observed Jessica's closeness to Nathan and expressed his concern about Nathan's character, noting inconsistencies between his words and actions. Jessica dismissed his concerns. She became confused and decided to ask for her parents' opinion on who she should marry among the two men. Her mother asked her three vital questions. Do you have any convictions for Lucas? What do you know about Nathan? Is he a born-again Christian? Asked her mother. She didn't have any answer to the questions. Her parents encouraged her to choose Lucas, emphasizing godly character over material wealth. Jessica's friends were attracted to Nathan's wealth and warned her not to miss her chance for a comfortable life. Jessica prayed for clarity but began to focus more on Nathan's promises than on God's will. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Jessica felt a growing guilt over her attraction to Nathan's wealth, a struggle between her heart and her desire for security. Jessica prayed for guidance but didn't receive any clear answer, further fueling her uncertainty. After 6 months of meeting each other, Nathan proposed marriage to her. He promised to continue to serve God with all his heart. He told Jessica that she will live a life of comfort and luxury she could only dream of if she agreed to marry him. Lucas, heartbroken, but respectful, pleaded with Jessica to consider her spiritual path before making a decision. Despite her uncertainties, Jessica accepted Nathan's proposal, believing she could maintain her faith amidst the wealth. Nathan took Jessica on a lavish date, showcasing his wealth and influence. Jessica enjoyed the attention and the luxurious surroundings. Jessica and Nathan had a lavish wedding, with family and friends celebrating their union. The wedding was extravagant, filled with opulence and social status. Jessica felt a pang of regret amidst the celebration. The honeymoon was luxurious and peaceful, but Jessica found an underlying emptiness in her heart. During their honeymoon, Nathan subtly dismissed spiritual discussions, claiming they can relax and focus on themselves. Jessica noticed that Nathan rarely prayed or studied the Bible but rationalized it as him being busy. Nathan began skipping church services, encouraging Jessica to stay at home with him. Jessica tried to maintain her spiritual life, but Nathan discouraged her, calling her too uptight. Jessica reached out to her parents, who urged her to stay strong in her faith, but she felt torn. Nathan insisted on hosting elaborate parties on Sundays, further pulling Jessica away from church. Jessica started to feel a spiritual emptiness, but Nathan reassured her that they are blessed because of their wealth. She tried to rekindle her prayer life but felt guilty and distanced from God. Nathan revealed his disdain for organized religion. He confessed that he only pretended to be a devout Christian to win her over. Jessica slowly drifted from her daily devotions. Her prayer life faltered amidst the demands of her new life. Her church attendance became inconsistent, replaced by social engagements and shopping sprees. Her Bible gathered dust on the shelf, a symbol of her fading faith. Jessica found herself increasingly consumed by material possessions, her values shifting from spiritual to materialistic. Despite the wealth and luxury, Jessica experienced a profound sense of emptiness and loneliness. Jessica discovered Nathan had been engaging in questionable business practices, compromising his Christian principles for profit. Jessica confronted Nathan about his hypocrisy, leading to a bitter argument that exposed the deep chasm between them. Jessica experienced a profound crisis of faith, questioning her life's choices and her relationship with God. In a moment of despair, Jessica poured out her heart to God in a desperate prayer for guidance and forgiveness. During her prayer, she experienced a renewed sense of God's love and a glimmer of hope. Jessica unexpectedly met Lucas at a supermarket. She confessed her sins and regrets to Lucas, seeking his forgiveness. Jessica's pastor guided her back to God. He encouraged her to engage in prayer, Bible study, and acts of service. She resumed her daily devotions, rediscovering the joy and peace she had lost. Jessica began to serve others, volunteering at the local shelter and sharing her story of transformation. Jessica's heart underwent a profound transformation. Her values realigned with her spiritual convictions. She sought forgiveness from those she's hurt, including her estranged family and friends. She grappled with the agonizing decision of whether to stay in or leave her marriage. Jessica sought wise counsels from trusted friends, family, and her pastor, seeking guidance. She couldn't separate from Nathan, but she prioritized her spiritual well-being. Although it was not an easy hurdle for her, she embarked on a long journey of healing, rebuilding her spiritual foundation and her relationships. She discovered that Nathan's business practices were unethical, causing her deep restlessness. Nathan dismissed her concerns, arguing that everyone cuts corners to succeed. She overheard Nathan mocking Christians to his friends, breaking her heart. Jessica tried to convince Nathan to change his ways, but he angrily accused her of nagging. Nathan forbids Jessica from donating to the church, claiming it's a waste of money. Jessica felt trapped, realizing her decision has led her into a spiritually stifling life. She ran into Lucas after a church service and saw how his life had flourished spiritually, though still modestly. Guilt consumed Jessica as she compared her life with Nathan to the life she could have had with Lucas. Nathan's business began to falter, leading to arguments and more control over Jessica. Nathan banned Jessica from attending church altogether, claiming she needed to focus on their real problems. Jessica secretly began attending a prayer group, seeking solace and wisdom. A member of the group warned Jessica about the dangers of spiritual compromise, convicting her deeply. Nathan discovered Jessica's involvement in the church and threatened to cut her off financially if she continued. Jessica's spiritual isolation deepened and she began to feel bitter towards Nathan. Her health began to deteriorate due to stress and unhappiness. Jessica reflected on her choices, realizing how far she had strayed from God's purpose for her life. She wrote in her journal, asking God for forgiveness but feeling unworthy of His grace. Nathan offered Jessica more material gifts, further blinding her to the emptiness in her soul. Jessica overheard a young woman in the community facing a similar decision she once faced. She tried to warn the young woman, but she dismissed Jessica's advice, just as Jessica had dismissed hers. Nathan's wealth grew, but his spiritual apathy worsened, creating a cold and joyless household. Jessica stopped trying to fight for her faith, succumbing to the life Nathan had crafted. She watched Lucas from afar, seeing him joyfully serving God with his family, a painful reminder of what she lost. The story ended with Jessica sitting alone in her luxurious home, surrounded by wealth but feeling spiritually bankrupt, reflecting on her costly compromise. The story served as a stark warning about prioritizing worldly gains over God's will. True joy and fulfillment comes from obedience to God, not from the fleeting pleasures of wealth or charm. In this story, trapped by riches, Jessica made some mistakes that led to her spiritual downfall and eventual rediscovery of faith. Here are 7 key mistakes she made and what she could have done differently. 1. Prioritizing material wealth over spiritual values. She should have focused on building a strong relationship with God first through Christ, recognizing that true wealth comes from God and hard work. She could have sought guidance in prayer and scriptures before making decisions based on material gains. 2. Being swayed by Nathan's outward display of devotion to God without examining his actions very well. She should have scrutinized Nathan's character thoroughly with the Word of God in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 6 to 15. NLT. Don't team up with those who are unbelievers. How can righteousness be a partner with wickedness? How can light live with darkness? What harmony can there be between Christ and the devil? How can a believer be a partner with an unbeliever? 3. Neglecting her relationship with Lucas, who had genuine faith and concern for her. She should have valued Daniel's friendship and counsel and maintain open communication and openness with him to discuss her doubts and seek his spiritual guidance. 4. Allowing material possessions to consume her, leading to spiritual neglect. She should have maintained a balanced life, recognizing the importance of spiritual practices like prayer, Bible study, and fellowship with believers alongside material comforts. 5. Ignoring her conscience and the warnings of her parents. She should have listened to her inner voice and respect the concerns of those who genuinely cared for her well-being. This involved prayerful discernment and a willingness to hear the truth even if it wasn't what she wanted to hear. 6. Failing to seek counsel from trusted spiritual leaders during her internal struggles. She should have sought guidance and support from her pastor or other spiritual mentors throughout the process. Seeking wise counsel would have helped her make more informed decisions and avoid her spiritual decline. 7. Delaying repentance and seeking forgiveness. She should have confessed her struggles and sought forgiveness from God and those she'd hurt more promptly. She delayed acknowledging her mistakes, which prolonged her spiritual pain and her separation from God. By avoiding these mistakes and taking the alternative actions, Jessica could have navigated the challenges of her life with greater spiritual discernment and a more grounded sense of faith and purpose. Her story is a reminder that true riches are found in the relationship with God, not in material possessions. Let's talk. What lessons did you take away from Jessica's story? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We're building a community of faith and support. Remember to like the video, subscribe to Christian Fiction Stories channel for more uplifting content, and share this with your friends and family. Till we come your way again with another soul-searching and inspiring story, remain blessed. Bye.